Hey, everybody, welcome back to another amazing show of real estate marketing, real estate uncensored. That's not actually the name of the show, but that is just what we're going to go with today. We all have new microphones. This is real estate uncensored marketing roundtable.
Not all of us.
Oh, no.
Hey, look, DJ, shut up. Okay. We're going to have a great show. We have
Party has a pooper.
Here's what it is. He thinks because he sends gifts out to everybody, he's off the hook. My gift was a piece of shit. It doesn't work. So thanks for nothing. Okay.
Mine works perfectly
Gene got
fine,
a
Greg
lump of
McDaniel.
coal.
all right. And look, guys, I'm so sorry. Gene just dropped off the show. It's so weird how that happened. We are going to have a great show. Nick Sakis, Mr. Jake Wolf, and the most incredible Miss Bernice Ross. If I can talk today, that'd be fantastic. But I've been working out all morning, so I'm a little exhausted. But before we get to the show, here is our intro.
Hey, I need your hat to go with my red jacket.
It's the first day of December, folks. I felt like needed a little festivities. Uh-oh. Did we lose Greg with his new microphone?
Already.
I think
Well, we're here today with
to-
Miss Bernice Ross, and she is going to tell us about some 7 free ways for you guys to go ahead and actually market your listings. So before we go ahead and move forward, Miss Bernice, why don't you introduce yourself to anybody who hasn't heard of you, ma'am?
I'm Bernice Ross. I've been in the business for a number of decades. I was active sales agent for 20 years. I write Freeman News. Been doing that for 20 years. I've also trained tens of thousands of agents. I'm an international speaker for the industry. And so catch my column in Inman News, or better yet, subscribe to my newsletter. Get it for free at realestatecoach.com/newsletter. So anyway, we're going to talk about 7 ways to market your new listings for free. Who doesn't want to save money, right? Or maybe you don't.
Yes. We like money. So, Bernice, walk us through some of the 7 ways that you can market your listing at a zero-cost basis.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things that we need to look at right now, competition for listings is ferocious. But what's really interesting are some new stats that are out from NAR just a couple of days ago. A typical year is normally 5 million listings in sales, or 10 million sides, and in this year, we're headed for 6.38 million transactions. So it's not that there's an inventory shortage. The problem is there is it is a over demand issue. That's the problem. So what we're going to be doing today is really focusing on what you can do to take advantage of this and how you can really market your listings, because your goal ultimately when you walk down, and there's another couple stats I want to share before we talk about the free ways. This is brand new data from the National Association of Realtors, and essentially says this, that 73% of the buyers and 82% of the sellers only interview one agent. Let me repeat that again, that they hire. Again, 73% of the buyers and 82% of the sellers only interview one agent. Your top job for 2022 is when you get a lead, get a face-to-face appointment. I don't care how far out they are. You want that face-to-face appointment, because that increases hugely the amount of, the probability that you're going to get that buyer, or that you're going to get that seller as a client. You want to be the first, even if they're not ready to sell for 6 or 12 months, you want to be the first one who gets there. That is the most important thing that you can do for 2022 to be successful. Make face-to-face appointments every opportunity that you have.
Bernice, do you
Okay,
feel like
no,
that's I'm sorry, I jumped right in there. I was
No,
on the
go
edge of
for
my
it, buddy.
seat.
Go.
The face-to-face thing. So how does that translate into Zoom? How would you consider that as good?
If you have somebody who's out of state, but it's not the same thing, because I cannot get a signature if they decide they're going to list. And also, I don't know about you, Zoom's great, but I know that the way that I interact with people completely changes when I'm in the same room with them.
Sure.
And there's a much stronger connection there. Zoom's great, but it's just not the same as being face to face, because you get that personal connection that doesn't always pop off of a video screen.
Sure.
Yeah, Bernice, I completely agree with you on that. Going face to face and really having that belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball connection when you talk with somebody, and it is I don't know, it's a real genetic, or it's just a human thing. But when you get to see, smell, hear, and feel another human being, you know if you want to work with them or not. So I completely agree with that. And the stats that you and I did an article for Inman about this exact conversation. It is interesting, because I'm having a lot of conversations right now in different environments, and it is amazing. Like I was up at the dog park naturally, right? And this lady, Paula, who I see all the time, she sat there and she's like, Greg, I want you to keep an eyeball out for a property in San Ramon, which is the city I work. And I'm like, okay, Paula, what for? She's like, for my son-in-law. And it was because she and I go belly to belly, face to face every single day. And there was a relationship built over just a silly dog, two dogs that, run around and chase balls together. It is imperative to be in front of these folks as fast as humanly possible, because your stat of 83% is 100% accurate. And it's so weird why people don't want to be in front of another person. Funny story, by the way, total side subject. I was at the dog park this morning, and this Karen walked up to me, and everybody knows what a Karen is. And she was like, excuse me, sir, can you keep your dog away from my dog? And I'm like, bitch, my dog hasn't even gone near your dog. But she and I were able to work a conversation out, because we were there together, not over the phone. And so we were able to amicably, walk away from each other. And that's the power of being in person. And I'm going to shut up.
That's the power of being 6'5" and a female terrified for her life.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Did you get that listing, Greg?
I want you to walk up to you and give me your size, Greg.
I was waiting to see where that was going to go, but man.
And not to mention when you start the conversation with bitch.
Yeah.
That was internal, okay? That was internal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm glad
Anyways.
it's external on the podcast.
Greg, I want to go back to something you said about being face to face, because have you ever wondered when you go to a movie or something why you want the popcorn and all the other things that you want to eat or drink something? Well, what happens is your system's being inundated with huge amounts of visual and auditory images. But the things that actually oftentimes make a decision that decide whether we want to work with someone are the nonverbal signals that you get from being face to face, including aromas. We're not aware that we smell pheromones, but apparently we select people by whether our pheromones, match up. That's another story. Chocolate chip cookies are a good thing. But again, this being face to face, like you said, it lets you, it's the body language, how you present yourself. And Greg, I imagine you didn't stand up and tower over her.
Oh, yes, I did.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Greg, did you ever launch your branded tennis balls that you talked about a couple months back?
It's conceptual. I haven't done it yet. But the thing is that, like what Bernice was saying, is that like 55% of communication is visual. 36 or 37% is going to be your tonality, and then 7% is going to be your verbiage that actually comes out of your mouth. So being face to face, when people can see you, 55% is going to win that game all the time.
So I want to piggyback on what Bernice was talking about. I don't want to downplay the whole pheromone thing, right? I'm a big believer in the more senses that you can incite when you're doing something. This is part of the reason why marketing can be difficult sometimes, is that you don't get that smell and you don't get the touch, right? I can see it, feel it, hear it. Sometimes you can't even feel it. But when you are with a person, there are things that are happening to you subconsciously that make you either like them or not like them. I think it's an overlooked aspect of marketing and sales, that face-to-face is so much more powerful because of those ideas, right? Like, I mean, it sounds awful, but I think I'll go positive direction. I wear, I was going to take it down to if somebody stinks avenue, but I wear something called Sauvage. You ever hear of Sauvage by Dior?
I have now.
It's a cologne, right? And my wife bought it for me 2 years ago. People stop me on the street. What is that? That's awesome. Like, it's weird, but when I'm with people, that's the first thing I get is, oh man, that's not, you really smell good. One of the senses down. Now I just got to take the other 5 with it, right? Like, I think that's why they talk about chocolate chip cookies in a home. It's so good to be able to see something online visually. And I say this when I do my presentations. I sent you a video. It's a 4-minute video. Take a look at it. And then when you're ready to go smell it, let me know. Right? True. Seriously, you've already seen it. You feel, you know what I mean? Like, what's left? I want to go smell it. I want that other emotion. I want that tickled, and I want to know if I like it or not. If you go into a place that you don't like the smell of, because maybe they have 40 cats and dogs, right? That's probably not a place you're going to like to live. That's just the way it works.
Gene, there was a meme that was going around for about the last 90 days or so that says Zillow can't smell the cat.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
This is why you need to get face-to-face. Zillow can't smell the cat.
Zillow can't smell the cat.
Poor kitties. Poor kitties. All right. So, Bernice, what's your next best way to market for listings?
Okay, number 1, if you haven't done so already, you need to set up a Facebook business page for each one of your listings. And what this means is that you are going to be using the property address as the Facebook business page. So, the single property websites have been around for, I don't know, 15, 20 years, but this is like, it's 123 Main Street, your city, and the zip code.com. And so this becomes way, and it's from research from a company called Udo, and we'll talk about them more in a moment, but they have huge amounts of data that they track for multiple, Fortune 100 companies. But they know that when it comes to real estate, people search on 3 things: the address, the city, and the zip code. So you want to make sure that when you're marketing, and this is especially important when you do video, you want to make sure that, because a lot of people look at videos with no sound, you want to make sure that you've got the property address and your contact information up there on that video. But going back now to this Facebook business page, you can do the same thing, and it costs absolutely nothing to create this Facebook business page for your listing. So, and this is huge. And what you want to do, the second thing, these two actually tie together. You want to create a generic Facebook page for the area. So, say that you live in a condo subdivision, or the property is located in a condo subdivision, and there's, say, 400 or 500 units in this, or maybe there's 100, however many there are. You could make a business page for that particular condo project. I talked to one woman who did this, a version of this, and there were 120 condos in this subdivision. She was turning in a 6-figure income net to her, and this was a whole lot of years ago. So this idea, and what you're going to put on there, you're going to put information about the area. And I know, Greg, one of the things you've been very good about doing is going out and interviewing people for what it's like to live in the area. What kinds of videos have you shot? Because this is what you want to populate it with, is short videos, pictures. Greg, can you elaborate on that? Because you've got some great ideas.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, a couple of things that I've done that've been really, really powerful is I went out and I interviewed a sneaker company for running shoes. They put on typical runs here in the area and kind of highlighted a lot of the stuff that they're doing. Also did a pizza shop, another high-end, pasta restaurant, local. There's a myriad of different businesses that I've done, and it's incredible. They all have said they've gotten more business based upon those interviews. So yeah, that's definitely something that is an important thing that everybody should do immediately for building your Facebook business pages. And you know, when Bernice originally told me about how to do these Facebook business pages, I legitimately thought she was a little crazy. I'm like, this is not going to work. But what I did is I went out there and I built a couple of business pages. And dude, these things pull in so much like residual business. It's unbelievable because it's a living business card. You can go out there and you can add in video, photos, information about the community, interview local businesses, different neighbors, and the list does not stop in regards to what you can do for this thing. I actually had a guy call me and he told me to take down one of my pages for one of the properties I listed because they had already sold it. And he's like, I'm getting too many people calling me about it. So it is a legitimate thing. So Bernice, that's a great tip. And I think everybody should learn how to do this.
So wait, I have a question, Bernice, before you move on about that. So you create a business page like you would your Facebook business page for Bernice Ross, real estate agent, whatever. Are you inviting your friends to each one of those too, or are you just leaving it out there?
You can invite friends to it. Anybody who lives in the area, you can invite them. So you want to create the generic page first about the area because that will draw more people. And then when you get a listing, you're going to send that out to your to the seller, and of course they'll share it immediately with everyone that they know. So you get on all those pages. So that's a great way to get in front of them. But it also allows you, when you go on a listing appointment, to say, I can create that Facebook business page before I walk into a listing appointment. It'll take me maybe less than 10 minutes. Can you imagine the message that is? You've got the generic page. You'll want to pull the information from the generic page onto that listing page for the property. But then even if you just shot some exterior photos or you've done some videos about what it's like to live in the area, you populate that to that property page for that particular, for that seller. You walk into that on a listing appointment, you are already showing them how you're marketing their property, and no one else is doing that. You've got the listing. In fact, you could do that. It's one of the ways that if you're doing one of these and you've got a seller lead and maybe they're a year out, why not do a quick, set up a quick Facebook business page? I just want to show you some of the ways that I market my listings. So when you get ready to list, this is just one of the things I'll do to get your property sold for the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Love it. Jake, you're being suspiciously quiet, which creeps me out. What are some of your thoughts on this? You and Nick, both of us, really quiet.
So having a platform like that, it puts the property in a position to receive, and it gives you that native Facebook platform itself gives you an opportunity to put video and pictures, and it gives you more dynamic involvement with the property, right? Some of the things that I like to do with that strategy specifically is then find all of the contact information for the homeowners in that neighborhood around the listing, and then get that information over to them by way of geofencing, by way of email, by way of texting folks that are not on do not call list around that area, or even putting that contact information on some written literature to go ahead and drive awareness to it. So putting that into a platform that's free, and it gives you more dynamic way to go ahead and properly present the property, the environment, the feeling, the smells of the area, all the rest of that kind of stuff. I think it's a fantastic idea, and it's free.
And free is good. Bernice, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I said, we like free.
Absolutely. Nick, talk to us a little bit about free, how you run this.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one more thing, like Bernice was saying, we talk about, you only get one interview, people only interview one person. But at the end of the day, if you are in a situation where you do have multiple interviews, and you should be asking that question on every listing presentation, like, are you talking to anybody else, right? If they aren't signing papers right there, that should definitely be in the conversation. But it's tools in the tool belt. So if you come out of the gate with something different like that, and another agent doesn't talk about a dedicated business Facebook page, right? It's just one more thing that you have in your toolbox that sets you apart. And so that's what all this is, right? This is a unique way to stand out. Plus, you know, Facebook business pages do get indexed on Google, right? You know, if somebody's typing in an address, that Facebook business page could end up being on the first page of Google just because of the address and just because there's not much other competition. You know, one way for marketers to get to the top of Google and the way for you to do this, like before Zillow or any of the big portals, you know, when you get those listings, you can be on the first page of Google within 24 hours because the other sites aren't indexed quite as fast. So little things like that, having a YouTube video with the specific address, having the, you know, a Facebook business page, having it on your Google My Business profile with the listing information. Like, these are all little tiny signals sending to Google to get people to find you and your contact information.
Yeah, great content. All right, Bernice, what's our next tip?
Well, I want to go to something that, you know, I noticed that a property came on the market about 2 weeks ago across the street, and the agent had done something very interesting. She put up a brochure box, but there was no brochures in it. Instead, she just had a big fat QR code there. So if you wanted information about the listing, you clicked on the QR code. And here's the beauty of this. When you click on that QR code, and there are a lot of companies that provide this, you get their phone number right on the spot. They will send it to you. They charge a little, these companies that do this charge a little bit for this, but it is instant lead conversion. And you've got them when they're right in front of the property. This is absolutely a brilliant technique and so simple. And by the way, who wants to leave your brochures out there when it's raining or it's snowing or the bottom falls out of the box and all the other things that happens with those?
So many people are used to QR codes right now. I think about during the pandemic times where a lot of the restaurants went to touchless menus. So people that weren't even familiar with how that works are extremely familiar now and are still using it to this day. So that is a good way to go ahead and bring in the digital adoption and also collect your lead. Great point, Miss Bernice.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've been using them in our presentations. The very last slide is a unique link to get in touch with us, or you can take out your phone and take a picture of the screen, and it takes you right to the landing page.
Really?
Yeah.
That's literally a phenomenal idea. I mean, I had a ex-girlfriend of mine. She came to me about 10 years ago, and she's like, "Have you ever heard of a QR code?" I'm like, "This is fucking stupid shit." No, like, no. It actually originated in the car business so they could track the cars, but it is like Jake and to Bernice's points. People are so familiar with it now that literally you just point your camera at it and it picks up all the information. You now you can download that stuff. I love that idea, Bernice. I would love to talk to that agent because that's a genius move.
Nobody benefited more from the pandemic than the QR code.
You're probably right. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
The resurgence. And Greg, you need to have QR codes on your tennis balls, my friend.
Zoom is the only thing I could think of higher up.
Yeah. Well, Zoom was already pumping, though. I mean, nobody forgot about Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then it went up in value about 100 times.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys went through the roof on stuff. All right, so we have that one down. I love
talking like his dog too, isn't he?
There's so many things we can go over here, but Bernice, I want to continue with kind of some of your tips and tricks in regards to you know, the 7 ways to get into market a listing, because that QR code on the flyer box, that is next level amazing. So what's your next amazing tip?
Well, this is one of the things that is one of the best free places to post your listings that virtually no one uses. So you want to combine these to create a social media marketing plan. But there's a place called Facebook Marketplace that functions like eBay, and you can put your listings up there for free. You should never post your listings on your personal profile page because A, it doesn't do any good. It ticks people off and it violates the Facebook terms of use. But you can post them on Facebook Marketplace, and you can post your open houses there. And again, it's a great place to get visibility for your listings.
I love that one. You know, it's a lot of fun. I go to Facebook Market. Why am I highlighted here? What the heck? Just
there you go.
Good God. No, don't
Different
don't
view.
do that.
It's all good. There you go.
Jeez, too much of Greg in one place. But the Facebook Marketplace is actually a really good place to go find stuff and to post, and you can do all kinds of creative stuff on that. I think Gene's about ready to eat his microphone. What are you gonna say, bud?
No, I wasn't. I'm enjoying the back and forth. No, I'm getting comfortable. That's all.
Well, we have to get your microphone working first, and then we'll keep going. All right, so we have a couple of great tips here. Bernice, what's your next thought? Unless Jake or Nick have any thoughts in regards to what Bernice just said.
I love Marketplace. I mean, that's like one of the first things I teach agents. If you have $0 and you have time, the Facebook Marketplace arbitrage is probably one of the fastest paths to a bulk of leads, right? The only thing to be aware of, Marketplace, so Bernice talked about it in terms of eBay. In my opinion, I mean, it's kind of like eBay, but it's more like Craigslist and in its layout, right? So it is a marketplace like eBay, but it's refreshed like Craigslist. So if you've been in the business for a while, you knew that there was a time where you could post on Craigslist and you would be able to have a link out and you could get leads from Craigslist. And there was VA companies where you would post, every hour on the hour, all your stuff, because as you post, it would just go down in line. So that's kind of how Facebook works, where when you post in the marketplace, as soon as stuff posts on top of you, it needs to be refreshed. So as far as an additional tip to the marketplace tip, if you are going to do that, you want to refresh the marketplace listing, probably at least once every couple days, depending on how much traction you get. But if you start posting stuff in there and you see it dying off or you're not getting as many leads, just go back in and change the verbiage around and resubmit it, or just take it down and resubmit the whole thing and get it back to the top of the newsfeed.
Love it.
Facebook Marketplace, in coordination with Miss Bernice's suggestion to go ahead and put up a actual Facebook business page for your listing, works phenomenal, because now you have the ability to outbound market via Marketplace, people that are kind of shuffling through there, and then that link back to the actual group or business page makes it sticky, and then they can see more of the actual product, i.e. your listing. So
perfect. Bernice, all right, you're knocking it out of the park. What's our next tip?
Okay. I mentioned Oodle before. That's like noodle with no N. And if you're not familiar with Oodle, they used to host Facebook Marketplace, and their client list includes a lot of Fortune 100 companies that they host marketing and other things for. I mean, places like Walmart, just a whole number of companies that are involved with Oodle. So they have extraordinary amounts of data, but they have Oodle Marketplace, which is another great place to post your listing, and no one knows about it. So but yet it gets lots of traffic because Google goes to Oodle. They actually go to LinkedIn first. So it's important that you use your LinkedIn profile, as everybody was saying today, that your profiles are up to date, whether it's on Google, whether it's on LinkedIn, but you want to make sure you have a complete updated profile. But coming back to Oodle has the data that shows what people search for. So again, when you list property and you use the property address, the city and state, and the zip code, then that's going to help you go to the top of the rankings on Google. So it's another place that they are marketing. Now, I'm curious. I see Veronica just posted Turbo Tenant. I haven't seen that. That lets you manage rentals on Facebook Marketplace. Thank you, Veronica. Great suggestion.
Yeah, that's really good. Veronica's always really, really good on tech. Good friend of the show, and we love her content. Guys, give me a thought in regards to kind of how you would leverage Oodle and kind of help the agents that you work with kind of get more visibility. We'll start with Jake, go to Nick, and then we'll go to Gene.
I'd like to say a quick shout out to Miss Veronica, since she is a friend of the show. Congratulations on your recent marriage. So, congratulations,
that's right.
Miss Veronica.
Woo!
She used to be a Jones, and now she's a Stovall.
She will always be Miss 2020, though.
That's true.
Yes, she will. And we respectfully call her the Barbie of real estate. So we love her for that. All right, and she says thank you, LOL. All right, Nick, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, it's just another place for attention, right? If you can find it in marketing, we don't want to create demand. Like that's not the thing. Creating demand is not the thing. It's finding where the demand is and just reaching your hand up and capturing it, right? So all these different places are channels of demand. They're different streams for, like Sarge would say, to go ahead and put your fishing pole in and pull out a lead or a bass or whatever you want to reference here. But it's, if you can find those markets, those channels where people are already congregating for you to put your bait there, it's going to be a win-win.
Okay. I like that. That's a really
I'll
good
tell you
idea.
I'll tell you what, and this comes back to some of the things that we talk about from a marketing component, is omni-channel dissemination of content, and listing is a content, right? It's something that you're putting out there that you need attention towards, right? So you have to look at first, where do you house that content? And for this case, we're talking about Facebook and having a business page. And now it's about sharing out that information. And when we use that fishing kind of context and nomenclature, it's about getting your lines out in the water into all of these different places. You have to be taking action and getting it out there. So if you find yourself in a position where marketplace fits good into your business plan of action, it should be written down for every one of your listings. This is what I'm going to do. Step A, create this business page. Step B, I'm going to go ahead and publicly put it out onto marketplace. If you find Oodle is a good place, it gives you a return on your investment, get it out there. Get it out there. So you can have a whole SOP. Yeah. You could have a whole SOP built for you to take actionable steps for each one of your listings. And then as well, this becomes additional PowerPoint conversations inside of your listing presentations, which will uniquely separate you from your competitors if they do ever interview somebody else. So when you start talking about how dynamic you are and how you do omni-channel type awareness for that listing, it's critically important. So find out what works. Free is always the best place to go ahead and start. And then once you find something that's working very well and you have the opportunity to put a little bit of advertising dollars behind it, test it, see if it works. And if it does return back to you, great, put a little bit more money into it. But I love all of these suggestions.
Yeah, these are phenomenal. I'm literally taking notes as we're talking. Bernice and I have already done an article about this for Inman, and I still take notes about this stuff. So absolutely fantastic content. Gene, give me your thoughts on Oodle real quick.
Bernice, I don't want to be the one to bust your bubble, but he's still taking notes because he doesn't listen to you when you're doing your show together. So I'm just being honest.
HD, that's okay.
And I want to talk about Bernice's jacket as well. I think this is the closest to a rose between four thorns I've ever seen on any kind of podcast ever. So I just want to give her a shout out. But
thank you. Holidays, I had to do red.
I love it. I love it. You stand out. So going back to what Jake and Nick were talking about, here's where I go with it. And I know Jake will love this. I want to get into a space where when I go to the seller, like let's say we step back and we include Oodle and the business pages and marketplace and Craigslist and all these things. And I'm going to market here. I'm going to spend dollars on Facebook pay ads and Google pay per click and blah, blah. I want to get to a spot where the seller goes, all right, enough. I get it. Like I get it. It's going to be everywhere. I get it. Right. And a lot of these things we're talking about, I can go to Jake and hire a VA and have them go, here's the checklist. Here's the listing in the MLS. Let me know when this checklist is finished. I want to get that listing with its address and the city and state on as many platforms on the internet as humanly possible. I don't want to have to do it for myself, so I'll pay some VA $5 to do it because it ain't going to take an hour, and provide me back that checklist so that I can have my client do a Google search in 7 days from now and see that listing every damn where, right?
So I have a hint of something that's coming. I can't tell you where it's coming from, but this is a little preview for 2022. I talked to a company at NAR this year, and they actually, and this is a premium service, so this isn't a free one, but they will take, as soon as your listing hits the MLS, they take their algorithm, takes that listing and then converts the listing data there into actual marketing that gets posted to your blog and elsewhere. And I can't really go into any more detail than that, but can you imagine that puts you out there in front of your database of people the moment it's on the MLS? It's that quick. So, it's like the battle right now is who gets to the consumer first. Zillow and Realtor and Trulia, they're all trying, everybody wants to get the consumer first. Well, I love this, thing that's coming that does that. So a little hint about something to preview for 2022.
And I'm hoping that since you're our friend, Bernice, the minute you're able to announce that, you'll come back and do that.
I will definitely do that. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
And we're gonna do that post show, by the way.
Oh, little inside information.
Insider trading.
No, nothing post show because again, it's just
Okay,
I was at a cocktail party and people were talking and my little ears perked up and I thought, ooh, I'm going to file this one away and talk to them and when they get the product on the market.
I can't wait to hear more about that one. Honestly,
yeah. I think that's cool. I mean, this is like I said, this will be a premium product. You'll pay for it, but it's fine.
It'll work. I mean, anything in business you got to pay a little bit for. So let's go on to our next subject. What's our next tip, Bernice?
Okay, number 6. This is one of my favorite tips from several years ago. When I spoke at NAR a few weeks ago on how to create listings where there are none. And this was probably the tip that was the most popular of all the things that I suggested. And what it is that when you take a listing, I know a lot of people don't want to get in front of the camera and they're uncomfortable about it. And they're uncomfortable asking for testimonials. But what you can do is you could ask for a testimonial for the area. So tell me, you just take your camera and, turn on your phone and aim away. And so what have you loved about living in this area? And just ask a couple, 3 questions about that. And then, so what you do now, you can post that on your blog, on the social media, on any marketing, put it on YouTube. But what that lets you do, Google looks at that like that's a testimonial for you. Now, here's the secret of doing this. So once you've gotten this testimonial from your seller, you want to ask them, is there someone else that you know who would be willing to give me a testimonial for what's great about living here?
Mm-hmm. That's phenomenal.
Instant. And the moment, and that person, chances are, is going to be someone who really loves Instagram. They love, they love posting things. They're really into it. That means they'll probably have a pretty good size following. So what this does is it gets you in front of that person with a warm introduction. I know, Greg, you like doing cold calls. Me, I'd rather just go interview sellers and ask about what's great about living in the area and talk to the people they refer me to.
You kind of nailed that one on the head. Yes, I do love doing cold calls and I look forward to doing them. I actually want to do a quick, just round robin. Jake is new to Florida. Gene's been in Philly for life. Nick's been in Florida for forever. I'm going to go with the Jake, Nick, and Gene really quickly. Jake, give me one thing. If you're being interviewed by Bernice, she says, give me one thing that you love about your area. What would you say?
I love the fact that I can drive on the beach with a cooler of cold spirits and go right out and start surfing.
Okay, that's a good selling point. Nick, what would you say on a good selling point?
Yeah, dude, I would say even though it's hot, super hot here, the weather's great. I mean, like there's no snow. We don't have to deal with any of that stuff. No state income tax. Those 2 things probably combined.
No laws.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty much rebels over here.
We like all of our new friends that are moving in from all over the country.
No, you don't. You only say that because you're one of those new friends. Nick don't like you.
No. This time of year, all the license plates are not from Florida.
Hey, weird statistic. Check this out. In the county right next to me, they literally opened up 65,000 permits for new construction builds.
Wow.
See, that's something you can talk about and do a good video on. Like,
wow.
Hey, I moved from this part of the country to this part of the country. This is what's going on. This is why I love it here. Gene, tell me one thing you love about Philly.
The food. What
about the food?
We're a sleeping giant, man. It's one of the best culinary spaces in the world.
Okay. You had me at Fat Kid. I love
You'll
it.
be here. You'll be here December 10th to see it for yourself. Oh no, you won't. Never mind. You
No, I
can't.
won't. That trip
Okay.
got canceled.
Greg, why in the hell do you like that city with a bridge?
Why do I like? You know what? San Francisco is literally. It sings to my heart. I love the weirdness. I love the kind of just funkiness of the place. Yeah, there's shit on the street. Don't fucking get me wrong. But I'll tell you one thing. When I walk up and down and I meet all the people who I completely disagree politically, but we get along and we can go and get a cup of coffee or a beer or a drink or something like that. I can go across the Golden Gate Bridge. I can go to Marin County. I can head over to Contra Costa County. I can go to Oakland. I can head over to Berkeley. I can get down to Salinas and Monterey in less than 3 hours. Go up to Tahoe. I love the diversity of it, and I love the fact that people are allowed to be who they are. They don't have to be conformed into a certain box.
Look at Nick's face.
Dude, I don't know. I went totally.
San Francisco.
Huh?
I'm a California native. I'm sorry. There's like this much tolerance in San Francisco. It's so tight from my perspective. They're tolerant of certain things, but.
That's why
my comment to that, I've been leaning on Greg to get out of California forever. So
she has been.
The tax rate's 65%, and that's why you've got people moving to places like Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, Florida, Texas. That I saw an article this morning that people are voting with their feet in terms of going to places where there are less taxes. And I mean, when I left California, and this is a long time ago, my tax rate right now with no property taxes or anything else is like, it was before I even got out the door, it was 57%, and that's without any other taxes at all. So, I mean, it's so much, and it's up to 60. The number I saw just recently is 65% now. And if the Congress passes more tax increases, it's going to be even higher.
I completely agree with that. And I call it the sunshine tax, and I get it. Jackson and I are looking for a ranch somewhere because we want to raise chickens and sheep and goats and everything else.
I want to see you with the livestock. I will make the trip there to see you with the livestock. That will be worth
hey,
the price of the airline ticket.
I grew up with livestock. I literally grew up with livestock. And the funny thing is that Jackie's best friend is named Sue, and her husband's name is John. And so we've decided, and we told them this last weekend, that we're going to name all the chickens Sue, and we're going to name the roosters John. And they both got a kick out of that. So if you give me an egg a day, I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. But Bernice, let's bring this down. We're running out of time. We have one more tip. What would that be for the agents?
The tip here, we talked about making videos, and and one of the things that you can do with the video is you can repurpose it. So if you take a longer video, you can cut it up into shorter segments that you can post as on YouTube Shorts, on Twitter, on TikTok, all the short form video, Reels, all these short form video platforms. And if you're doing something that's longer, you can use a site called otter.ai. That's OTTER.ai, otter.ai. And what that site lets you do is it gives you a transcript of what your video was about. Well, you can now take the transcript and you turn that into a blog post or to a Facebook or to an Instagram post. So again, it's another way to repurpose your content. So when you make a piece of content, you can, again, you want to post it in as many places as possible, because again, that gives you free exposure. And as you mentioned, you can get a VA. I know, Jake, you've got a great service here that does that. Get a VA to handle this. This is just one of the best things you do. I've had a VA since 1998. She runs my life, and she's not $5 an hour. I can tell you that.
Slightly a bit more, but guys, seriously,
more virtual CRO is a better description.
Right.
I'll do you one better. I'll add one to that Otter AI. I happen to have used that in the past a lot. Rev.com is another one that I subscribe to, which is, in my opinion, a little bit better. The transcriptions are a little bit cleaner. No offense to Otter.ai, but take a look at both of those services and see which one works best for you.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about Rev, because this is something I know a lot of the reporters, I found out about it from writing agreement. The reporters were using it, and there are times it does fall short. But the good news is, and does Rev do this, is that you get, when you click on the transcript, it gives you the audio portion of it so you can rehear it.
Yep.
Rev is the most expensive, but they're the most accurate.
Yeah, $1.25 a minute, right, is about what it comes down to.
I thought it was $1.
For an entire year on Otter, I think it was like 100 some odd bucks.
Right. That's why.
Can you get a yearly subscription to that?
Yeah, I paid for a full year of it. Yep.
Oh, no, I wonder if Rev does that. I didn't even hear about that. That's good info.
At $1.25, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's the most accurate. There's another competitor, Otter, would be Toomey. They're relatively inexpensive too. I think they're like 10 or 15 cents. Or Descript is another one too that's good.
Nick, spell Toomey for all of us dyslexics.
Tumi.
Nick, drop those in the comments if you don't mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of those in the comments there so the folks can come back. While we're at downtime and Greg's taking notes, I want to also say, Jake, in answer to your question, Greg told me off air one of the reasons why he likes San Francisco is because he has the most teeth anywhere in that city.
Yes, I don't smoke meth. Yes.
You said that, not me. He has more teeth than the average Baron for San Francisco.
Okay. Now
that's good improvement, Greg. That's good improvement.
That's good improvement. Yes. Still room for more, but
room for improvement. Yes. All right, Bernice, where can everybody get a hold of you, find you, buy your products? You and I have a product out there called List and Sell Like Crazy. It's a phenomenal product, guys, and I'm not bullshitting you when I say this. She stumped me several times when we were recording this product. She has a listing presentation in there, and this is one of the main reasons you should get this. There's a checklist on what you should do when you go into a listing presentation, and also if you follow the script, it has a 90. Bernice says 93%.
In the hands of somebody who's even semi-experienced, 92 to 95% conversion rate.
Yeah.
I've been training a version of this since 1989. It came out of all the work that I've done in the business, and the company that I was the trainer for with 4,000 agents, we were doing $1 billion a month in sales in the 1990s. There are very few companies. There's less than 20 that do that right now. And we had 50 to 70% market share, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Bel Air, Santa Monica. So this stuff was taken from the very top agents in the business who do tremendous amounts of business. And I just was talking to my friend who oversees the old office where, I used to be in a lot of the agents there. They're on track this year to do $4.2 billion in one office.
Amen.
Yep.
Damn. Wait, what's that? What was that number again?
4.2 billion.
Holy macaroni. That is some. I really wish they would really put some more work in, because they're really slacking. Good God.
And the state of California loves them.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
No, they're that's West Side real estate. It's always been very expensive, and even more so now. So
Bernice, give everybody your contact information.
You can visit my site at realestatecoach.com. And if you want our newsletter, realestatecoach.com/newsletter. If you're a brand new agent, we have the best new agent sales training. Greg was talking about List and Sell Real Estate Like Crazy. If you are an experienced agent, that's the course you want to sign up for. If you are less than 2 or 3 years in the business, List and Sell, our new agent sales training program is 24 modules of training, and we've got it listed at $395. So it is worth its weight in gold, because you will be able to compete with the most experienced agent and blow them out of the water with the tools that we're going to give you. We've got stuff about AI, about chatbots, a whole bunch of other things. By the way, just to give you a heads up, a good friend of mine, Elaine Summershield, she is the COO at Wise Agent, and that's one of the top CRMs in the country. They actually have a new chatbot feature that will nurture your lead as part, and then put it right into your CRM. So what happens is, like you're listening to this right now and you can't really take that lead that comes in. It has a conversation with the lead and they think it's a person. So this is a huge, and there was another company that just came in the space a few days ago, but this is something that they're offering as an add-on to their CRM. And I see this as the direction it's going because it's instantaneous and it asks questions like, what are you looking for? How many bedrooms and baths? How soon do you need to move? And then it will let you know when it's ready, it knows when to hand off to you. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think that's
Bernice, you and I interviewed her in Vegas, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I remember her. She's a phenomenal human being, and it's a great company, great product. Reach out to Bernice, guys, as soon as you humanly can. She's a resource that has resources beyond resources. If you don't know her, I feel really bad for you, but get to know her after this. Gene, since you don't have your boom today and you're playing radio mic guy, how do people get a hold of you?
Let's go to genevolpe.com. It's just a landing page with a bunch of links to all my contact information. So, yeah, get over there. I mean, listen, they know by now if you're watching, you know that you can get me on Instagram, you can hit me on Facebook, DM your boy, or any of those things, right?
Hey, Jake, can you help Gene learn how to sell himself a little bit better? Because, damn, that sucked.
I learned all my tricks from Dino.
See?
Sometimes it's a subtle way of saying things, Gregory.
It's called the takeaway sale, Mr. Wolf, isn't it? It's this.
It is.
You don't want to really work with me, and I don't want to work with you, so don't bother calling.
Never call me because I don't want your business, but I do. But yes, thank you very much. All right, Jake Wolf, where can everybody get a hold of you?
Come on over to Clever Leads with a K. We've got some special things happening over here. And stay tuned for this Friday. We're going to be promoting some new things coming to the real estate market across the nation.
Oh.
Do we want to talk about the new website, or are we going to wait?
You're going to have to tune into Real Estate Uncensored this Friday, December 3rd.
Oh.
I got to tell you guys, the new stuff that Jake's coming out with, Clever Leads with a K, not a joke. Like, I have had one conversation. I've gotten 2 deals and 3 leads off of one conversation from what he's building. So stay tuned, pay attention, keep your ears to the ground. This is a game changer. You're going to follow Bernice Ross. You're going to get a hold of Gene Volpe. But the man of the hour, Mr. Nick Sakis, where do we get a hold of you, you beautiful man?
Oh, yeah. So if you guys want to head over to getamplified.com, if you'd like to get some of that secret sauce that Bernice was talking about as far as multi-purposing your content, that's exactly what we do. We help you create pillar content for your YouTube channel, and then we disseminate all that pillar content throughout social media, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, you name it, and helping you take it over your market.
Awesome. I love you all. Guys, if you want to get a hold of me, go ahead and just reach out to me. My phone number is going to be 925-915-1978. Let's talk about EXP, kind of how what we're building. A lot of these folks on this show right now, especially one, is being very strategic in regards to kind of what we're building out and how we're going to explode our business. And if you guys just like us and you like the show, we love you to pieces. We cannot do this without you. So go ahead to every place you guys watch and listen to what we put out. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review. That'll help the algorithm show it to more folks. But until then, guys, we need some help. And I said we, I mean me. Jake, I need a color for the bow in the show. Nick, Gene, and Bernice, I need 3 colors for the show. Jake, what's your color?
Since we're moving into the most beautiful season of the year, I'm going to put a little bit of silver on this bow.
Okay, silver. Nick, what's your color?
I'm going to go with a burnt orange, and that is for something that you guys will see very soon, possibly with the show.
Oh, burnt
Does
orange.
it involve bourbon? Does it involve going in my bourbon?
Not an old fashioned.
Probably.
There's no old fashioned. Yeah.
Okay.
Gene, what's your color?
I'm going Bernice Ross Rose Red. Say that 3 times.
I can't. Okay. Wow. That's a color. Bernice, what's your color?
I was just going to say, red for the holidays. So, well, got, 2 reds together here.
But we have a
Ross
Bernice.
red and regular red are 2 very different colors.
Very different.
Yeah,
Very
it's kind
different.
of a red in person, but it's, the camera changes it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the show. We truly love you. Truly appreciate you. We're going to put a silver, a burnt orange, a Bernice Ross red, and then a red on the bow for the show. Guys, until next time, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.